You are now listening to the following program on the Mixkill Media Network.
The Matt's on Mix-Off is brought to you by Sport Clips of Rutland, located in the Aspen Dental Plaza in Rutland, Vermont. Sport Clips provides you with quality haircuts that have you feeling like $1,000,000 with a friendly and knowledgeable staff that makes you their top priority. Sport Clips of Rutland is also a locally owned business that takes great pride in our community. You'll see it the moment you walk through the door. Sport Clips is home to the MVP treatment, which is my personal favorite. Here's what you get: a shampooed head massage, a steamed hot towel, and even a back massage. Also, all Castleton student and staff get 15% off when they show their Castleton ID. Talk about a deal. They also raised the bar with staying in the know on sports by having all the sports you ever want on all the TVs covering the shop, so you're never going to miss a thing. So when your hair is due for a makeover, come check out Sport Clips of Rutland and see why it's good to be a guy. Sport Clips is the official hairstyles of Team Momo.
In a world that seems upside down, there is a man who uses his opinion as a weapon. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin McTaggart is this man, and this is the McTaggart Attack Podcast. Let's go.
Hello, and welcome to the McTaggart Attack Podcast. This is episode 13. It'll be released on Saturday the 14th. I'm recording it on Thursday the 12th, which means Friday the 13th is this week. How weird is it that the 13th episodes come out? Like, I think all the 13th episodes from Mixkill Media Network all came out this week of Friday the 13th. That's weird. I just think it's weird and funny, and it's an odd coincidence. That's right, I mentioned Mixkill Media. The McTaggart Attack Podcast is brought to you, but to the masses, by the lovely people who run Mixkill Media, the owners of Mixkill Media. Max and GW are lovely people who do a lovely job of running their lovely network. I feel rather lovely to be a part of their lovely network. So that's just all lovely. Yeah, sure. Whatever. I have to make a sound adjustment. Pardon me. You won't notice a goddamn thing. I'm just going to click a switch. There we go. Alright. Good. Gonna keep going. The official sponsor for Mixkill Media and the McTaggart Attack Podcast is Sports Clips of Rutland. It's in Rutland, obviously. I don't live near Rutland. I live about over an hour away from Rutland, but if I did ever get my hair cut in Rutland, if I lived in Rutland, I'm screwing this up. If I did live in Rutland, I would get my hair cut at Sports Clips of Rutland. And there's a deal that you can do. You can get if you're getting the varsity haircut and you mention Mixkill or the McTaggart Attack Podcast, you can get an upgrade from a varsity to an MVP. I still have no fucking clue what that means. I think it involves, like, I think the MVP you get like a hot towel. I think there's a back rub involved. Not really sure. But that's not important. You just have to remember, if you want to get a free upgrade from a varsity to MVP, you just have to mention Mixkill Media or the McTaggart Attack Podcast, or any of the other podcasts on the Mixkill Media Network. Now on to other things to talk about, which is the same thing I was really just talking about, the Mixkill Media Network. Last Saturday, I traveled to Rutland and recorded 3 podcasts. I was a guest on 3 podcasts in one day. That has to be a record. I think I broke a record. I don't know what the Guinness World Record is for number of times you guested on a podcast in a day, but I'm pretty sure I broke the record with 3. I'm sure the record is much higher than that. I don't even know if there is such a record. I could have broken a record Saturday, and I don't even know. Someone should look it up to see number of podcasts you were a guest on that you recorded during a day. I don't even know if that's a thing. In fact, it's not a thing. I broke a record Saturday. Woo, go me. I've never broken a record before, but I broke the record of number of guests, number of podcasts I was a guest on and recorded in a day. That's right. I was in 3. I went to G.W. Foley's house, the lovely G.W. Foley's house, and I was a guest on his podcast again. I think we talked for like over an hour about a bunch of things. It was good. I felt really enlightened after our conversation. Seriously, it's opened my eyes politically, and I think I'm going to get to that later on. No, I'll get to it now since I'm already fucking talking about it. It opened my eyes politically. I think it was an enlightening conversation with G.W. Foley. He's a great guy. He's a good guy. He does a great job having guests on his podcast. That's not something I feel like I want to do right now. It's just me. It's just me talking about things. And I feel that sets it apart from other podcasts, because every other podcast I've listened to is 2 people or a host and talking to a guest. And I'm like, what? I don't care. My podcast is me giving my goddamn opinions. But G.W. Foley's podcast is him having conversations. It's like you've picked up... I explained it to him last week when I recorded it, because I listened to his podcast that he did with Ryan Kenyon. It felt like I saw them both smoking on a stoop, and I went up and stood with them, which I've done several times. I'm a chronic secondhand smoker. I stand with smokers all the time. I don't think it's a good idea for people to smoke, mind you. But if that's how you want to kill yourself, then go ahead. I really don't care. That's fine. But anyway, back to GW's podcast. It was a fun experience. It was very enlightening. Had a good conversation politically. We talked about the political spectrum, and the next day I actually went and did a thing on this political spectrum to see where I stood. And no surprise here, but I'm just left of center liberal. I think I'm not authoritarian. I'm more towards libertarian. But I'm pretty damn close to the middle. Like, I'm just barely southwest of the middle of the political spectrum. Which is cool. Which is good. Enlightening. It was a good conversation. I'm not going to tell you everything that we talked about. You'll have to listen to the podcast when it comes out. Because what would be the point of you listening if I tell you everything that we said? But I enjoyed our conversation. In fact, I'll probably listen to it to remember what the hell we talked about, because I don't really remember, to be quite honest with you. Let's see. And after that, GW drove me, had me follow him over to Max's house. Max, the co-owner of Mixkill Media, and I recorded 2 podcasts there. I was a guest on 2 podcasts. I was a guest on the Elite Hour with RJ and Josh, I think his name was. Justin? It started with a J, I think. And Max was there too, and we talked about sports. We talked about, it's already come out, we talked about who we thought would be NFL MVP. We also talked about my comments, what started with the reason why I was a guest on the podcast, about my thoughts on who should be in the NFL Hall of Fame from this year's nominees. I think, to sum that up, I think LaDainian Tomlinson, Terrell Owens, and Morton Anderson should be in. I also think Don Coryell should be in as well. And yeah, I think that's those guys should be in. But there's others, like I think Tony Baselli should probably be in. Not Kurt Warner. He had too much of a gap there to be considered a Hall of Fame career. He had some Hall of Fame seasons, but he did not have a Hall of Fame career. Just like Terrell Davis, his career was too short. I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame, unfortunately. But we'll see. I mean, I don't make those decisions, so they probably will be in the Hall of Fame this year. But I don't think they're first ballot. I think they're, I don't think, not first ballot. Like, LaDainian Thompson is first ballot Hall of Famer. That one I'm sure about. He should be in. If he's not in, then the whole Hall of Fame thing is just a crock of shit anyway. But the whole Hall of Fame thing is just a crock. So it really doesn't matter who's in the Hall of Fame if you really want to know what I think about it. Which you do, because you're listening to my podcast. The McTaggart Attack Podcast, episode 13. By the way, I did mention the sponsors earlier. I'm always looking for sponsors. So if anybody wants to sponsor my podcast or the Mixkill Media Network, drop me a line. Whatever that means. Like, comment on the Facebook page, the McTaggart Attack Podcast Facebook page. Find me on Twitter at KevMcT, or Facebook, or call or text me or something. I want money. Basically, that's basically the summation of that. Another podcast I did that night was the Twin Geeks, which I think is coming out. Will also be coming out before I talk about it now. So, but that was fun. I was on there with RJ, I think it was host again, and Sean Lassard was also on there, and we just talked about geek stuff, movie stuff. It was fun. I had a good time. They talked about their top 10 favorite movies that they had each, and I chimed in on them, and I told them that they were all wrong because Pulp Fiction should be their favorite movie of all time. Pulp Fiction's my favorite movie, so I think it should be everyone's favorite movie. What's wrong with that? I don't know. I was actually going to think about doing my top 5 favorite movies of all time, but I didn't come up with that list. But we'll do an impromptu top 5 favorite movies of all time. Let's see, what are they? I'm going to go from 1 to 5 because I'm that much of a douchebag. Number 1's Pulp Fiction. Number 2... I think number 2 is probably Shawshank Redemption. Maybe. I love that movie. I love watching that movie. It's a fun movie. Number 3, probably Usual Suspects. I love that movie. I think Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is probably in my top 5. It's probably number 4. And I think I have to pick a Batman movie for number 5. I'm going to go a little off the grid here. Well, not really off the grid, but I'm going to go with Batman Begins, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Batman Begins, or The Dark Knight, or Batman from 1989. There. That's my top 8 then. Whatever. Yeah. That was my top 5 favorite movies of my life. Yeah. These movies, need to think about it better, I guess. So yeah. But I had a great time on all 3 podcasts that I guested on, and broke the record for number of podcasts that I was a guest of in a day. And it wasn't even a day. It was like 6 hours. I think it's a record. Someone look it up. I'll just sit here and wait while somebody looks it up. Then it's that awkward moment where you realize that you're recording the podcast and there was nobody else here to go look it up. And I'm certainly not going to look it up. So I'm going to do some fake news and announce that it was me. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I'm not going to even look it up. I'm just going to proclaim that I broke a record last Saturday. Very proud of it. I don't care what you think. If I cared what you thought, I would put you on my podcast. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Let's see. What other shit did I want to talk about? I meant to talk about this last week, but I totally forgot, because the situation's been resolved now, but I think January 1st, a lot of the local NBC stations or something had like a contract dispute with DirecTV, so like I wasn't able to watch any Sunday Night Football the last week of the regular season, so we missed the Packers and the Lions. I think the Packers won because they're still in the playoffs. No, the Lions, they both went into the playoffs, but the Packers are the division champions. But the Packers won last week. Yeah, they did. And the Packers are playing, they're going to Dallas now. Detroit's going home. And, Who's Seattle playing? Seahawks are going to Atlanta. That's right. I remember now. We'll see. That should be some interesting games this weekend. Even with New England and Houston, I don't think it's a clinch that the Patriots are going to win that game. It might be pretty close. I don't know. We'll see. I might be wrong. And then Pittsburgh's playing Kansas City. I'm surprised I know all that. I mean, I kind of know about it, but I just don't care that much. I mean, I care, but not care enough to. But anyway, the dispute was settled we got our channels back last Saturday morning, so that was good. I couldn't watch Katie Couric on the Today Show when she guested a few weeks ago. Had Meredith Vieira this week. Who gives a shit about Meredith Vieira? Anyway. So yeah, that's over. Another thing I was going to talk about this on, this was the stupidest thing I'd heard on sports radio in like a very long time. And it belonged in this thing that was talked about, this topic that was talked about, I think, for the entire hour of their show. It was the stupidest damn thing I'd heard in sports radio. Yeah, it's just, but the stupidest thing I'd heard in a while. There's this, to give a backstory, there is a local sports radio show that goes on from 12 to 1 here in the Upper Valley. It's known as, it's called Franklin and House. Those are the hosts. And last week, I forget which day it was, might have been Wednesday, they talked about what are the Patriots going to do in the off season. Not what the Patriots are going to do in the playoffs, mind you. They were talking about what the New England Patriots were going to do in the off season. What a stupid thing to talk about. Who cares what they're going to do? Who wants to worry what the hell they're going to do during the off season? You know? I don't care what the Patriots are going to do in the off season until they're in the off season, which hopefully won't be for another month or so. So what the hell were they thinking, talking about what off season moves, or who was going to stay, or who they should pick up? Who cares? So stupid, that show. I hate that show. I hate that I caught their stupid. They have a replay. They replay the show at 6 o'clock. So they cut off Bomani Jones at 6 o'clock just for their stupid replay of their stupid show that sucks. But what a stupid topic to talk about. I mean, plus there's plenty of other things in sports to discuss, and they talk about the Patriots' off-season moves when the playoffs aren't even over yet. How stupid is that? If they want me to be on guest on their show to talk about it, I won't do it because I hate their show, but their show sucks. I'm surprised it's been on air for so long. It's such a I could do such a better job on that show talking about sports for an hour than them. I mean, those guys are just a bunch of idiots. It's just, they're like the typical sports radio show. That's why I don't like the typical sports radio shows. I like shows like Dan Patrick and Dan Lebatard where there's slightly unconventional type stuff going on, and I like that. You know, yes, Dan Patrick has callers on, but it's not like he engages in a conversation with them. Like, I hate Franklin and House doesn't do this because they don't get any callers, but Dan Patrick, you know, he'll let the callers give their opinion and then he'll talk, but he won't have a conversation with them, which I think is great. I do know that there's sports radio shows that do have callers where they just take callers for 4 hours, which is so damn stupid. There's nothing stupider than the sports radio caller. You know, it's just so damn ridiculous. Like, earlier this season, I was listening to, I was down in Boston, and I listened to sports radio, WEEI down in Boston, and I swear the callers down there were talking about, this was when Brady was serving his suspension, like, oh, do you think we should trade Brady and keep Garoppolo? That was the conversation topic that these callers were calling in. I don't have the psyche to want to call into a radio show. I just don't understand the psyche involved. How long is the hold time? Some of these people for like the national shows, I think they're on hold for like hours on end. Or something. I don't know. I don't want to know. But I just think it's idiotic. And then when they go on, they're just, all they do is yell at the host or something. It's just so stupid. I hate that aspect of sports radio. I even hate some of the people's most people's opinions on sports radio. It's so damn stupid. Like I said, the only two shows I really like are Dan Patrick and Dan Le Batard. Mostly because they're not like typical sports radio shows. What the fuck else should I talk about today? I have a list. I wrote a list this week. I felt pretty good about that. I think I know what I'll end with, but I'm not ready to end it yet. So we'll just keep going on the sports theme. Somebody, Steven Shepard, asked me my thoughts on Tom Brady as the MVP. Well, I'll say this. I don't think Tom Brady should be the NFL MVP. He missed 4 games. For a stupid, ridiculous suspension, but he missed 4 games. He's had great statistics when he's come back, but I don't think he's the MVP. Plus, the team went 3-1 without him. I was not expecting that. Plus, like, a few years ago when he tore his ACL, they went 11-5 without Brady. Sure, they missed the playoffs, but they still went 11-5. You know who should be the MVP of the NFL? Aaron Rodgers. The McTaggart Attack Podcast endorses Aaron Rodgers as the 2016 season NFL MVP. Book it. Means it's probably not going to happen, and Brady's probably going to be the MVP, but you know, I booked it anyway. Fuck it. I don't care. Another bit of sports news I want to talk about. I saw this yesterday. Jim Furyk was named the 2018 Ryder Cup captain. The McTaggart Attack Podcast would like to be the first to congratulate Team Europe on winning the 2018 Ryder Cup. I'm not a Jim Furyk fan. I'm just not a Jim Furyk. He's a Yankee fan. I don't want to support a golfer who's a Yankee fan. I have no hope. Will the U.S. win? I hope so, but I'm not going to be surprised if they lose. Because they will lose to Europe probably again. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But no, I'm not very... Furyk, really? Could they have picked somebody? Why not Fred Couples? Why doesn't he want to do it? He's my favorite golfer. He should be... Plus, he's had success as a President's Cup captain. He should be... Why isn't he a Ryder Cup captain? Someone explain that to me. I'll hang up and listen. Oh, wait. I forgot. Recording a podcast. It's kind of hard to hang up and listen when I'm recording a podcast. Alright. What other stupid, useless shit was I going to talk about today? Oh yeah, one of my favorite TV shows to watch came back over the weekend. Isn't that exciting? That's right. The show, in case you're wondering, is Finding Bigfoot on Animal Planet. I've watched enough of these episodes to know that this show should not be called Finding Bigfoot. It should just be called Wandering in the Woods. Because that's basically all they do. They wander in the woods, they howl, and they bang on trees. You know how many times they've found Bigfoot? 0. I'm not saying that they haven't found Bigfoot because there's no such thing as Bigfoot, mind you. I'm not saying that Bigfoot doesn't exist. I don't know if he exists. I just know that the people on this show will never find him or her or it or whatever Bigfoot is or how many Bigfoots there are. Plus, I mean, if there was a Bigfoot, don't you think we would have found it by now? With the advances in modern technology? Why can't we just get a satellite and put it over, like, wooded areas to try to find Bigfoot. Wouldn't that be a good way to try to find Bigfoot? Just a satellite? So ridiculous. So maybe he doesn't exist, but I'm not gonna say that he doesn't exist because I don't know. Am I still talking? Yeah, I don't know if Bigfoot exists. We'll see. It should be fun. But yeah, that show, I'll keep watching it, but they're never gonna find Bigfoot. That's right. The McTaggart Attack Podcast is predicting that the show Finding Bigfoot will never find Bigfoot. Because don't you think if they really did find... They filmed that show months in advance, so don't you think if they had found Bigfoot, it would be announced? It would be fine. If Bigfoot were found alive, it would be one of the top stories of the year, the decade, the century. So, I'm not sure. We'll see. It'd be nice if Bigfoot existed, but I doubt it. Then again, I doubted Donald Trump would be president, so maybe there is such a thing as Bigfoot. I don't really know. So many questions. So many questions. I did just mention Donald Trump. The other day, I saw that golden showers was trending. I had no idea what it was for. I had a good idea what it was for. I'm like, and sure enough, it was some allegedly fake news about Donald Trump ordering golden showers from prostitutes or something like that. Russian prostitutes. Russian prostitutes. Or something. And he denied it, of course. He denied it pretty fast, too. I mean, he whizzed through that denial. That was awful. I had some good tweets about it. I had one of my most viral tweets ever. Had like 170 likes. Go follow me on Twitter at KevMcT to see what that tweet is. I'm not going to tell you what it is here. You're going to have to look it up and find me on Twitter and see what that tweet is. I also did a poll about who's more annoying, Donald Trump, Trump supporters, or people who hate Donald Trump, or Trump complainers or something like that. I'm pretty sure... Let me look at this. If you want to see the survey results, you'll have to check my Twitter account. Fuck that. I'm not going to tell you what the results were. At KevMcT. If you have any questions, just follow me there. Please. I need the followers. I'm desperate for followers. I'm as desperate for followers and likes and retweets as Donald Trump is. Except I'm not running for president. I think I said that last week, but I don't care. It's still funny. Or it's still shocking or sad. The inauguration's next week. Holy shit. Awful. We'll see what happens. But I said after I talked with GW, I had a better thought about it. So I think that podcast is coming out in another week or two. So keep an eye out for Foley Kills the Podcast, for which I was a guest on. And Twin Geeks and Elite Hour. All three are great shows. I think I'm going to guest on Max on Mixoff or Mix on Maxoff or something. Max's podcast. I'm going to be a guest on that sometime soon too. So I haven't recorded it yet, but I think we're going to do it. So that should be fun. Oh, well, I think I've bantered enough for today. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to the episode 13 of the McTaggart Attack Podcast. I have a show tonight. There's a show January 14th at the Middlebury Theater, the Vermont Comedy Outlaws. I'm very excited to be in that, but that's happening now as this podcast is being released, or if you're hearing it after the 14th, you're too late to go. January 21st, I should be at the Farmers Market Cafe in Grantham. I'll be performing in between Randy White's musical sets. I'll be performing comedy. Should be fun. Looking forward to that. And like I said, find the McTaggart Attack Podcast on Facebook. And follow me on Twitter at KevMcT. And I think that's all I'm going to do now. I'm going to go eat dinner, and then later I'm going to probably go to Claremont for an open mic, because I'm a glutton for punishment. Have a great night, everybody. That's it. Really, I'm ending it now. I'm going to stop it now. Maybe I should wait a minute and 10 seconds so it can be 30 minutes. I might just do that. I might just ramble for the next... And we'll just do 29 minutes. Okay. I've already gone past 29 minutes. Damn it. I might as well just wait until 30 minutes. And just stop it then. Well, what else should I talk about in the next 30 seconds? I don't know. I don't care. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to make it go to 30 seconds because... Yeah, you know what? I don't want to wait till 30 seconds. We'll just stop it now. Have a good night, everybody. Oh, I didn't hit the stop button. I hit the record button again. Which was already pressed. Such an idiot. Now I'm hitting stop.